Mesachas Sotah Daf Mem Vav. The Gemara discusses why the Torah say you should bring a egla arufa. Omar Kadosh Baruch Hu Yovi Dovash Li'osu Peiros. V'yechape al mi shelo hinichu lasis peiros. Chaim Knievsky in his Sefer Nachal Eson declares an interesting shaila. What's the halacha with a cheresh or a shoita that's not mechuyev in mitzvahs and it's found a cholol? Is there a chiv egla rufa on a cheresh or a shoita on a koton? There definitely is a chiv because he will become mechuyev in mitzvahs when he becomes a gadol. But a cheresh and a shoita that are not capable of doing mitzvahs and their asiyah is not a mitzvah chlal, are they included in the chiv egla rufa? And Chaim Knievsky says the mashmois of the sugi is that there is a chiv egla rufa on all of Klal Yisrael, even a cheresh and a shoita, the same way Zakim V'Soris, the more proved that HaKoch is talking about Zakim V'Soris, but he asks it's Shrem because a cheresh and a shoita can't do mitzvahs. He says in the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah Daf Chof Ches that if a shoita eats matzah, someone that's eatim cholim v'eatim shoita eats matzah, he has to go and eat matzah again when he comes. Not a shoita, he has to eat matzah again. He's not yotzes mitzvah when he's a shoita. So he brings from his father the Kilas Yaakov that the Steipler said that since a cheresh and a shoita when they do mitzvahs they get schar, they're included in bnei meved mitzvah. And Steipler brought a raya from the Mora in Ksubas Daf Mem Ches that if someone becomes a shoita bezdin goes down to the nechasim and takes stock, so you see that he's a bar meved mitzvah who ein shurim in Ksubas Daf Mem Ches. And Chaim Knievsky says it could be over there it's different because of a shibud nechasim and not because of a din mitzvah. And Chaim Knievsky Zechron Nevrach is Mitzayin to two places in the Mishnah Berurah that you see the cheresh and the shoita or muzar and averis, and the fact that there's isilis achilum and you can't give a cheresh and a shoita an avera to do on Shabbos because isilis achilum. So you see, even though they're not muzar and averis, there is isilis achilum the same way you find by a koton. And he says furthermore the bialochas mavur that they're included bisoide in mitzvahs, but they're just considered anusim, and therefore they're included in those that are mitzvah mitzvahs to bring a egla rufa. I didn't say for Ali Ber from Agoyin B'Zriel Katzlita that's a mitzayin to Yesod from Chaim, which you mentioned the Shir El Daf Chaf Aleph and many shurim and Psachim. The Chaim says a tremendous Yesod that by Korban Pesach is different than Achilas Matzah. And even though a cotton that eats matzah is not considered a mitzvah b'chlal, like we mentioned before, and he has to eat again when he becomes a cholim, he becomes a gadol. Nevertheless, Korban Pesach is different, and a cotton that's nisman in the Korban Pesach, he's yotzi day Korban Pesach, and he doesn't have to bring a Korban Pesach when he becomes a gadol. And Chaim explains in one teretz, the understanding is, besides for the mitzvah, there's a chelik of a Korban Pesach that the Korban's oiloloi, that itself is mashvi, the Hakavas Pesach into a mitzvah by matzah. It's only chal din ma'aseh mitzvah with the chiv. And a cotton doesn't have a chiyuv, it can't be chal or din ma'aseh mitzvah. However, by Korban Pesach, besides for the mitzvah and the chiyuv, the fact that the Korban's oiloloi itself could be mashvi the asiyah into a mitzvah. So according to this, the same way a cotton has a mitzvah, who then the cheresh and the shoita could be the sman and the Korban Pesach and have a mitzvah. He says maybe bisman hazeh they don't have a mitzvah. These terasus maybe bias yibum. They could be koina the yavama and have a mitzvah v'ayin sham. According to we mentioned the Shila El Daf Chaf Aleph that we brought there by Aaron Kotler, proves in the sugya that a koton that learns Torah, not only the father has a mitzvah, the koton himself, his learning has the status of a mitzvah, and we were married in Sefer Oil. Yisrael Elchanan from Chaburas Dirshu, when a cotton learns it has a chashivas of a mitzvah, and therefore his birchas HaTorah is considered birchas HaTorah, and he's yotzi even when he's a gadol, and his siyum has a din of a sudas mitzvah even on 9 days, and the beer is similar to Reb Chaim because by Torah as well, there's besides for the actual Maisa mitzvah, the whole world is niskayim on Torah, and since besides for the actual Maisa limud, the whole world is niskayim on the Torah, that itself makes the Maisa into Maisa mitzvah. So therefore, the same way a cotton has a mitzvah in its Torah, who adin the cherish and the shait also have a din of a Maisa mitzvah. And it's also hated that you chuyiv egla rufa on a cherish and a shait. Moving further on, the Gemara discusses that koifin the leviyah, that by hachnosas orchim there's a chiv to malave and to accompany the orchim out of one's house, and we force someone to mekayim the mitzvah of levayas orchim. The Marsha asked, how could it be that we force someone to do levayas orchim? It's enforced in the Gemara that there's a matan schor betzida, like it's enforced in the Gemara over here. On that, the Marsha says the answer is that the whole halacha or that Bezdin Shalmato is not koyfin on a mitzvah to say that Shematan Schor Kosa Betzida is specifically when it's mentioned in the posuk next to the mitzvah. However, over here, although it's mavur in the sugya that there is a schar for havoyas orchim, it's not mentioned in the Torah next to the mitzvah. Mechagavno doesn't pertain to this halacha that ein Bezdin Shalmato Muzar in the law. Another teretz you could say, according to what's mavur, a tremendous chiddush in the shurim from David Soloveitchik over here, that David proves from the Lashon of the Rambam that halvoyas orchim is not only a mitzvah on the machnas orich, but even on Bezdin has a chiyuv to make sure that everyone in town accompanies their orchim. And the Lashon the Rambam is that the actual chiyuv on Bezdin. So according to this is Miyoshev Heitiv. There's no shaykhis to the regular halacha of mitzvahs asay shaman schor betzida ein Bezdin muzar and aleha. That's specifically when there's a mitzvah that's on a yachid, and the question is if Bezdin has to force the yachid to do mekayim his mitzvah. Over here, there's an independent mitzvah on Bezdin to make sure everyone in town is melave the orchim, so there's no shaykhis the halacha of mitzvahs asay shaman schor kosa betzida ein Bezdin muzar and aleha. Eine keren euro that b'teich dvar is mashma like this yisoid Reb David that is independent halacha on Bezdin to melave orchim. And he brings further that Mamish the Mashmois, the Rambam is very hard to understand because the Rambam says that Bezdin forces Falvois Orchim the same way Bezdin forces Tzedakah. And what's the Shaykhs the same way Bezdin forces Tzedakah? Who are din? They should force people to mekayim the mitzvah of Vois Orchim, and he bestellt zu Tesis in Chulin daf kufyu the ass on that's mavur in the sugya in Chulin and sugya in Ksubis daf memches, that they forced for mitzvah tzedakah and tzorchin because since it's man schor kosa betzidi you can't force. So Tesis has two terutzim. The first teretz is that they force b'devarim, and the second teretz is that there's lavin leisamitz leisikboitz, and therefore they were able to be koifer if it's tzedakah because of the lavin. And Tzorchin, understanding the Keren Oira, both terutzim of Tesis doesn't answer the question over here, because over here it's mashma, they actually force and not bedvarim, and furthermore there's no lavin by halvois orchim. Eine shin ksubis daf memtes. They brought many mahalchim to explain the kvir by tzedakah, and they're advising the morals mavur that the kvir by tzedakah is not because of the mitzvah of tzedakah, rather the tzorich of the aniyim. So according to that, you can explain the Rambam that who din the kviyah balvois orchim is not because of the kiyum mitzvah, rather it's for the tzorich of the orchim. So it's also hated that the Rambam compares these two halacha, they're both the tzorich of the aniyim or for the orchim. Moving further on, ein sefer Be'er Sheva. And the Chavetz Chaim and the Sefer Abbas Chesed ask on that the people are not nizar b'zman hazeh in the mitzvah of voice orchim, and it's furthermore shver on that that's not muskar in Shulchan Aruch, and a tour the mitzvah to Melava Orchim. So there's many Mahalchim to answer this kasha. The Beersheva says a tremendous chiddush that in his days there was a great sakana to go on the derech, and therefore since his sakonas nefashis to go into Melava the Orchim to the next city, so therefore one is potter because chayecha koidmin. The Ian Yaakov asked Al Koponim mitzad dechiv to malav dal ramis you should be mechuyev, and it's not sakonas nefashis. And the Sma says the answer to this kasha is that people are moichel nowadays on the mitzvah of avodas orchim. And the Chofetz Chaim and Aves Chesed says that even if one could be moichel on the added shiurim, but on Dal Ramis you can't be moichel. It's mashman the Chofetz Chaim, a tremendous chiddush. There's two independent halachas in the mitzvah of Havos Orchim. One is Dal Ramis, that it's not a chiv l'chaveir and you can't be moichel. And the added shiurim or chiv l'chaveir, one could be moichel but tzorchi and bezeh. The Ian Yaakov and Aves Chesed say another teretz because the whole Yisoid of the mitzvah of Havos Orchim is to show one the derech and the way to the next town. However, nowadays that there's street signs and clear highways, and it's clear the way to the next city, there's no mitzvah of Havos Orchim. The Emek Brocha brings from the Chazon Ish another teretz that the whole mitzvah of Havos Orchim is specifically when someone goes by himself. However, nowadays it's normal for someone to go on a bus, on a taxi with others. So therefore, there's no mitzvah of Havos Orchim b'chlal. Ayin Chofetz Chaim that says these are only the mudei schus. However, someone should really be nizar in the mitzvah of Havos Orchim, and he brings a tremendous ma'isa of the choyma of Havos Orchim v'ayin sham.